The Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV begins right now. I see the boys. They're across the way. There's Ira. There's Corey. It's game week, if you will, as Florida State's spring showcase takes place Saturday. We'll be at practice today. And as always, before we get going, we have to say a lot about our friends at Register Sausage. Yay, sausage! With all kinds of promotions going on, including the opportunity, fellas, for the folks
and ladies.
Are
we the
I'm
fellas?
talking about you fellas.
Okay.
Yeah. The opportunity for folks to go on into Doak Campbell Stadium and purchase Register Sausage dogs for the spring football game.
Let's go.
That's pretty exciting. That's crazy. That's good stuff.
That's really good stuff, huh?
I don't know that I should be as excited as I am, but I'm really excited.
When was the last time you bought something from the concession stand at Doak Campbell Stadium? Ever in your life, have you? I bet you haven't. I bet you haven't.
No.
Is this going to be a first on Saturday?
This will be a first
Okay.
because I don't think we're getting it up in the press box.
No, I don't think you will either.
Ben, I'm not saying you should do it, but maybe you should do it.
Oh, man,
but-
go down and.
But no, I'll go
buy
down.
one.
And everyone else should as well. It's going to help out Register Sausage. This is a kind of it sounds like it's a kind of a trial run
Mhm.
that it Doak during the.
Well, that's going to be a real quick trial. Everybody's in on Register Sausage. That'll be a permanent thing.
We're
Yeah.
We're changing the name. We don't know if FSU is going to change the name. We're calling it the Spring Sausage Showcase.
Okay.
and that's what we're going with this Saturday.
All right.
And you can get your Register
All
Sausage.
the sausage.
Look, if you want to go out into the stands and watch the football, that's up to you. But the first thing you have to do, and really the only thing that matters, is be in that concourse, wait in line, and get yourself a sausage dog.
Yes. We don't know. We don't have all the details. This is all developing news. We don't know if it's going to be the full line. Can you get the Indui?
Oh, we don't know yet. We
Or
don't,
is it,
like you
is
said,
it the
we do not
jalapeno
know.
cheddar? We'll go to you'll have to go to the concession stand to find out when you're at the game on Saturday. It's awesome, man. This is the biggest
They have softball
huge
too,
news.
right? They're going
to have a softball too.
You get you a sausage dog at the spring game, get it at the softball game. I think this, in my opinion, this will become a permanent thing, but we don't know. So make sure it does by purchasing these sausage dogs with the opportunity
And
this weekend.
Take a picture of yourself with your sausage dog.
Okay, so that's part
Tweet it.
That's something different.
Share. Well, it's part of it. Share it on social media with Register Sausage, and you'll be entered into, I think, some sort of drawing.
Do you have to hashtag it like sausage for that whatever
For that ass.
Yeah, do you do that or register?
That's up to you.
Okay,
Now,
whatever you want to.
that's very
Whatever
impressive.
hashtag you want to go with, but tag Register Sausage. They're going to be giving away a Florida State Yeti cooler.
Yeah. So they're going to run a promotion where, people, as Ira described, take a picture with their Register sausage dog, whatever it might be, pick at the spring game or the softball game, or even at Hotel Indigo as well.
Oh, that's right. They're going to have it at Hotel Indigo
Hey,
for our pregame show.
That is right.
It's
Everywhere.
a sausage showcase.
It's
I
a
told you.
sausage party.
What a fest. And then you post it to Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and you tag. It's very modern promo.
Right.
As annoying as all the tagging stuff is. There you go. You kids know how to do it. It's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. Tag them, and they'll give away a custom FSU Yeti cooler to a lucky winner after the weekend is
I don't
over.
think we're eligible,
No.
but I'm going to be tagging them. And at Hotel Indigo at the pregame show, they're going to have some there as well. So I might not have to go buy one at Doak.
Yeah,
Corey,
you
still
can.
should, though.
You
still
can. You
should.
can go
You should
there.
make
And
an
eat one.
appearance.
By the time you get done eating the one that you're having at Hotel Indigo, and you walk all the way over to the
Time for
stadium,
another
it's
work up
time
that
for another
appetite.
dog before you take the steps. All right, so that's this weekend, and so is the game.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that's secondary,
The
but
game
still,
is
we'll
taking
talk about the
place.
game, I guess.
People in the chat are already talking about Dimitri Emmanuel. They want to talk about Florida State football. We're busy.
Yeah,
busy
we're talking about another. I was going to say Demeet. Is Demeet his nickname, or is it?
Meach.
Oh, it's Meach.
Meach.
I like Demeet better.
Hey, so really quickly, I thought about this, like what it says about the offensive line, that him coming back, I don't, if he starts, he starts. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's no big deal. They've got a gazillion guards. But it's nice knowing that you have yet another one who has played a ton of football and was pretty good at it last year. So all of a sudden you realize that is called functional depth at every position along the offensive line, except for center. If they can teach one of those other guys to snap the ball, they will have functional depth at every position on the offensive line. That's amazing.
Yeah, and we'll see. Casey Roddick's got 4 more months to work on this transition.
Got to snap. I'll be snapping right now.
He needs
So
to
will
be
if he-
snapping in class.
Yeah, snap
will if-
against the tree.
yeah,
snap
yeah.
somewhere every day.
We'll see, but you still have you still have Darius Washington behind Maurice Smith as well, is a guy that can play every position on the offensive line. It's not, that's probably not what you're looking for, but it's an option. So it's not like it's Maurice Smith or bust. They'll have some other options as well.
Yeah.
And we'll see if Casey Roddick can pick it up. But yeah, man, I think, going back and looking, Dimitri Emanuel's grade, according to Pro Football Focus, was like just a hair under Dylan Gibbons. And Dylan Gibbons was first team All ACC.
Yeah.
In fact, Dimitri was third team All ACC. So, I mean, he may start, but there's plenty of competition. They have a lot of other options.
So he was right guard. Gibbons was left guard. Is there any, and you also have Roddick, who's a guard / center. Keandre Jones.
Yes.
Number one, I can't imagine Keandre Jones thought he was transferred in, and then, Demit Hook got another year, man. He got his 7th year. Sorry, buddy.
So back in the spring, real quick, actually at the end of last season during bowl practices, after one practice, I asked Dimitri Emanuel, I said, hey, man, I heard you might be applying for another year of eligibility. And he goes, no. And I said, really? Is there any chance? And he's like, oh, you never know. So I think maybe they didn't really want that widely.
Didn't want that
know that he was going to be applying for another year.
Keandre appreciates it, I'm sure.
Well, look, beat him out, Keandre.
Beat him out, and he may very well beat him out. Yeah. I mean, I think the competition, again, is really stiff across the board. I think Robert Scott may not start at left tackle. He started all of last year at left tackle. He may, but he missed all of spring. It's a tough time to miss spring. You've got candidates at tackle.
Who's the left tackle? Is it Bless Harris? Do we think it?
I think Bless Harris is a candidate.
Armella.
Julian Armella is a really good one. Byers is I think Byers is going to start at tackle.
But I think Byers is right tackle.
Yeah,
but my point is, Corey, though, you've got 3 tackles before you even bring up that. Robert Scott missed this spring. You've got 3 guys right now that play tackle that if they had to start, you would not be upset about it.
Yeah, but I think that's the one that Robert Scott, you do want because he's. I feel like they're not interchangeable necessarily, but left guard, center, right guard, you got 7 guys in the mix.
Yeah, they got a ton of interior alignment.
The tackles is a little different, and you don't have maybe the depth that you'd want at left tackle that's proven anyway, that's played at Florida State. So that's the one area that I wonder about. But you've literally got 8 guys that have started multiple seasons of college
So you
football.
have a true freshman tackle that'll be more talented than anybody they have right now.
Lucas Simmons is a nice player.
You don't want him to play yet, but he's going to be more talented than all of them.
And I also don't know that. I don't know how many teams have experienced backup left tackles. I think Florida State, with the options they have, is probably in better shape than most teams.
It's crazy.
The vast majority of teams.
Yeah,
they are in great shape. They really
shape.
are in great shape. I just think that's the one area where I'm like, man, you want Robert Scott to be healthy.
Could you just have an All ACC second team left tackle?
Yeah, for sure, right? There's got to be one of those. You could go get one. Whoever was go get one out of the portal.
Simmons will be awesome by, I think, next year. I like Armella a lot. Byers is really good.
And think about, we've talked about this before, but Simmons and Armella getting to soak up 8. You've got 8 guys that have probably started a combined, I don't know, man, 200 games.
A lot.
In college football, maybe more than that. I don't know. I got to go add them up.
I think Roddick and Dimitri Emanuel have both been in college since 2017.
And they've started at least 30 games each, both of them. Keandre Jones has started like 30 games. So you're talking about over 200, 250 starts on the college football in that room to go along with these 2 young guys these 2 young bucks you're bringing up with Alex Atkins as the leader.
This is why everybody's so pumped about
that begets really good offensive line play for the foreseeable future
and the competition to win those jobs.
It's fantastic, and I think it's true too. If you look at the interior of the defensive line, how good they are there. You're good off the edge, but you're not great. You've got a great player, perhaps. The depth there is lacking, but the interior of the defensive line, there's a ton of good talent, and you feel good about that rotation. I think you're not as excited at linebacker. You got a ton of people in the secondary. That'll be interesting to watch that competition continue to play out. But on the offensive line, you've got people for days. You're loaded in the offensive backfield. Your quarterback is a Heisman candidate. You've got depth at receiver. I don't know that they have a bona fide 2 yet with Micah Pittman out, but man, you're loaded at tight end. All of a sudden, you go from having nobody at tight end to having 3 guys you really like at tight end. So this is hence why people think Florida State's a top 10 team.
We should do a content item where Jeff just throws out the names of players at other positions that he wants moved to linebacker.
Well, I already named the one
Brian
repeatedly, Brian Courtney. I'm staying with that.
I think you've thrown KJ Kirkland out there maybe as a future linebacker.
He's future because look at his body. He's going to be a linebacker at
You
some
want
point.
Meach at linebacker?
Who? No.
You want Meach?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad
Byers?
Yeah,
You want Byers?
Estes?
Who else you want at linebacker?
I love our offensive line. I don't want to replace any of those guys. We already moved one offensive lineman to defensive line because we had so many offensive linemen. We don't need to go there.
Aaron Hester?
I don't know.
Lamont Green Jr.?
No, but I do think they need another linebacker, and I'd go get one. I would do it in the portal. I'd do it right now, especially if I
don't
could
disagree with you, buddy.
I would race to find a guy that could play right now, but I don't know that he's out there, so we'll have to wait and see. And they do have a kid coming in, obviously, that everybody's real excited about. So, that fall competition.
And DeMarco Ward looks like he can play. I mean,
Yeah.
he was not a guy very highly regarded.
Yeah,
but he's shown some ability early this year. Tom and Jeff brought this up yesterday, Corey. I wanted to ask you on the JCS, the Jeff Cameron show. Have you
Wildly
listened?
popular.
When's the last time you listened?
It's been a minute.
You don't even check in on his appearances anymore? You used to monitor them because you were so concerned by the minutes.
Once y'all don't do the picture anymore, right?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, I thought the last time I saw it, you were doing a live hit.
No, it just happened.
Oh, y'all go. Okay.
Yeah,
well, then, yes, I will start checking back in. I didn't know we were using the 2009 pictures.
2012.
Oh, okay.
So,
Sorry.
get it straight. No, but they were talking about what if a great punt returner went in the portal? Would you try to make that happen? Would you try to juggle the roster to try to make that happen?
But like,
could that be the cherry on top for this?
He's also like a third or fourth wide receiver.
Yeah, sure.
You've got to do it, right?
But it might prohibit you.
I mean, I would not
defensive
forego
players
a defensive end or a linebacker for a great punt returner.
Or a safety.
Like those three are. But if you have,
I don't know if you're bringing in 5 more guys.
Yeah, but
I
they don't
know.
over the
That's
limit.
what I'm saying. If there's just an average safety out there or an average linebacker that you would bring in for depth, but probably wouldn't start, then yeah, go get an electric punt returner.
Because that's the thing. I don't know that you need a decent linebacker or decent safety. I think you've got those.
You need a great one. You need a good one.
If you're not going to get
you need a starter.
Plus,
you need a starter.
If you're not going to get a plus, somebody that's going to make a difference at linebacker or safety, but you could get a difference maker at punt return / receiver. I don't know.
They don't have a punt returner right now. I mean, maybe somebody's going to emerge, but there's been nobody. Yeah, but there's nobody so far at practice that you're like, oh, there he is. Nope.
Yeah,
we're not seeing it. So I'm a little concerned. I mean, that kind of matters. We saw what happens when you don't catch punts.
Yeah,
we had an entire year of not catching punts.
Well, that's always an option.
And just watching the
just
ball
not catch the punt.
Roll end over end, 20, 30, sometimes 40 yards in a game. You're just like, well, sweet Jesus, boys.
I do feel like this offense is a little better equipped to handle that.
Yeah, but we're trying to win championships, Ira.
I'm not
Let's
saying,
not go 90 every time.
I agree. I'm just saying 2 years ago, man, if you got the ball at the 15,
it was over.
It was a wrap. You're going to be punting from the 17.
Yeah.
Imagine also this conversation 2 years ago about, well, if there's a punt returner in the portal, we should go get him. It's like, man, we're getting everybody. We need a lot. You need 4 linebackers. You need 2 D. Like that. That was their mindset 2 years ago. And now it's like, well, what if we went and got a punt returner?
Yeah, this
is
like
just a strict punt returner.
This isn't the Sunday trip to Costco. This is like a Wednesday on the way home. We need one ingredient.
Yeah, just swinging by. Oh, I forgot to buy the dishwasher soap. Yeah, it's whatever it might be. Yeah, swing by there, get those pallets. I'm with you on that. By the way, answer a quick thing. Craig, Blake isn't here yet. He'll be here in the fall, just to answer him about linebacker. But I do think, like I said this to Tom repeatedly, and I always tell my audience this because I want them to understand that when I'm hypercritical, I'm talking about a comparison of championship level teams.
Right. You were excited to get Tatum Bethune a year ago.
Yeah.
You're excited about potential about Kalen DeLoach. But now you look at this team and you say, could we get something a little bit better?
Because I think when you've graduated from being ass sorry to good, you want to go from good to great. And when we say great at Florida State, it's about competing for national championships. So when you compare this roster anymore, you're no longer comparison. It's not to the climb anymore. It's not like, hey, we're trying to not be terrible. Hey, look, this guy makes us not terrible. That's not what we're doing. It's a lot more about, hey, will this guy help you win a championship?
Noel Dad 77 in the chat says, we need to get some dish soap from Publix, but not necessarily from Dollar General. We're not shopping at Dollar General
anymore. We're not going
anymore.
by the dollar store anymore, man. No, we're not doing it. No, so when I look at a linebacker, like I think our two starting linebackers, if you will, Tatum and Deloach, all right. But are they championship level? Like, The Georgia linebackers are better. The Alabama linebackers are better.
Well,
So
yeah.
I'm trying to
But
win and
you've
compete
got
with
to
them.
Yeah, right. But you won't.
Well, no. Nonsense. Why do you do that?
Not in the immediate. You can't catch up with what they've been doing for the last
Not overnight,
decade.
but
That's
you're
what I'm
trying
saying.
to. So the point would be if there's somebody better than those two that are equivalent. There have been linebackers that left Georgia that you could grab, or like Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end that left Georgia, that immediately gives you an opportunity to contend.
I'm just saying
That's what you're trying to do.
It's going to be hard to get there, even with the portal. It's going to be hard to get there in a year.
Agreed.
But you have
Jordan this year.
But you
don't have him next year.
I would say you have a better
And
offense
Burst and Johnny Wilson.
Right.
Yeah, you have guys that they don't have, and you have a quarterback that they don't have, and you might have a better offense than both of them.
Which is why you need to do what you need to do to make a run at it this year.
But my point is, I think Tatum Bethune, Kalen DeLoach, that group will be fine with this defensive line.
That defensive line will help them be better than they've been because they don't have to worry about people getting out on them. But
those offensive linemen from other teams are going to be a little bit occupied.
That is correct.
More so than they were last year when you had Robert Cooper with one bad arm and no Fabian
Fabo.
Levitt.
Yeah, sure. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Both can be true, though, right? I mean, they'll be better, but are they great? I don't think so. And that's the other thing about wide receiver. They've got a lot of guys, most of whom are plus players. Johnny is an elite player, potentially really, really elite. After that, you're kind of like, all right, we'll see. Now, one of them's a freshman that I'm in love with. I don't know how good he can be in year one. He's great. He's potentially great. But we'll see.
And the only thing I would say on that is same type of theme. It's not like we're saying their receivers are not capable. They've got capable receivers.
Right, but I'm trying to win
There's just
championships.
not a lot of difference makers from what we've seen so far,
Yeah.
other than Johnny Wilson.
But you also think that the offense is a 40-point per game offense.
Yeah.
It was an elite offense last year.
Whether you go and get Marvin Harrison Jr. or not, you're going to have one of the best offenses in the country.
You would be really good if you got Marvin Harrison.
I'd make a run at him. I'd make a run at him. Just make him say no.
I think he's kind of a difference maker.
Make him say no.
Yeah, that's.
I wonder if he would. I've got a quick public story real quick. If y'all
Let's
want to
hear it real quick before we go to break.
And it's personal, but we're all friends here.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to say it. I don't care. I was
tell us, C-Dub.
I was walking.
Is this the shirtless story?
No.
Thank God.
Yesterday in Publix, I was walking down one of the aisles, or walking by the cash register. There was a lady in line. She's going, "Oh, hey, I'm a big fan. I love the show."
Were you going,
which
you're going
one?
to get your Mios?
Which one, buddy? Which Publix? Because I was at Publix yesterday too.
It was the Publix by I-10. I don't want to give away my spot. I don't want to blow my spot.
Dude, you're in there like once every 3 months.
No, I'm in there every day because I got to buy my Mios every other day. My Mios and my protein bars. Anyway, that day I had Mios. I had protein bars. I also had some Preparation H. And so I didn't want this fan
to see
what I had. So I was like, man, I got to mosey on back because I was going to stand in line right behind her. And I'm like, I can't let her see this. Now, of course, she's listening to it. So she knows what I have.
Now everybody knows.
So I kind of toiled.
He's worried about that one lady.
Yeah, yes.
Terrified.
So
But he'll tell the whole audience.
I toiled for about 5 minutes and then got back in line. Between her and I was this grandma. This is the express lane.
And she too had Preparation H.
10 items. Well, probably. No, I didn't. No, she didn't. 26 items in her cart. 10 items or less.
Yeah, that's not acceptable. I've had this argument.
And I was like, I know that the cash register lady can't say something, but yeah, you kind of can.
Wait, the fan? The lady?
No, the fan.
This was the older lady.
It was
I
the
was
lady
say, man,
that
if you're telling on a fan, I mean,
and it wouldn't have bothered me, except the only reason I had to wait on her is because what I had in my hand, I didn't want to be right behind the fan. So I got.
Don't they have the
in between us.
self-checkout lines?
They
No,
do.
They didn't at that one.
Well, they do have them, but I don't like them. I do at Walmart. I don't need help at the Walmart.
Well, if you got Preparation H, maybe it's an option.
that's the option.
By the way, never used that before until that. A little goopy.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's
okay.
we're done here.
Here we go. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Discover the taste of Peru at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. Con amor y pasión, with love and passion, Café de Martín is a fine Peruvian dining experience in an approachable, comfortable, cultural-rich space built for creating memories to last a lifetime. Enjoy happy hour daily with a full bar, handcrafted cocktails, beers on draft and bottle, paired with a selection of Peruvian tapas like crispy fried yuca with house-made huancaína sauce, carefully selected charcuterie boards, a selection of fresh ceviches, and so much more. It's Café de Martín and El Bar. Escape to Peru, a country of great culture, beauty, and food right here in the capital city. Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
Small businesses and everyday Floridians depend on a thriving digital economy. But some Florida politicians are pushing an anti-free market law that will crush our economy and hurt consumers. If passed, their reckless new law would prevent small businesses from reaching local customers online. And it could force Floridians to pay for online tools that are free today. SB 262 and HB 1547 are examples of big government at its worst. Don't let the politicians break the internet for Florida and destroy jobs. Let's protect our small businesses and consumers. Let's keep our digital economy strong, and let's keep the Sunshine State open for business. Contact your state senator and state representative today at flsenate.gov and myfloridahouse.gov. That's flsenate.gov and myfloridahouse.gov. Tell your lawmakers to reject SB 262 and HB 1547. Paid for by the Council for Citizens Against Government Waste.
Injured? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
So you'll see you're looking up. Post that back up there, Director Matthew, if you would. All right. So for those watching in the chat, you'll see right now 1 to 3 Seminole Headlines. We got the JCS tomorrow, of course, and then we have a charity version of the Jeff Cameron Show for Thursday because it's the day before the Jeff Cameron Show / Warchant Golf Tournament on Friday, which should be a lot of fun. But I want to point out there's going to be a happy hour show Friday. Corey, exactly what time is that happy hour show going to be?
I would think
you'll know when you need to know.
You'll know when you need to know. I would think 3:30 to 4:30 is probably our best guess.
So we get done with the golf and then we race over there and we do some 3:30ish to 4:30ish happy hour show.
4 to 5, whatever.
Probably like more like 4 to 5, right?
I wouldn't mind that. And I also think Ira's going to be there too.
It's an impromptu headlines.
It could be a live Seminole Headlines if Ira's on board.
I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Okay, well then let's.
But we were, in the dark, and I was trying to promote it.
Let's plan on maybe 4 to 5 after the golf.
Tentative plans for 4 to 5 , everybody.
Maybe I could go
at the Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill.
So if people didn't participate in the golf tournament,
they can honestly
come on over and hang out and let us tell them stories, regale them with tales from the course.
I mean, we're going low, Ira. You and I are going low.
People love to hear about bad golfers day at the course.
Well, we're benefiting the Second Harvest, and if anybody, and then Thursday's charity show is to draw funds for and attention to the cause. But certainly, if you want to come by on Friday and see a live Seminole Headlines happy hour after the tournament, and you want to contribute to the second harvest and help out, that's a great way to do it as well. That's all I'm saying.
And we have headline shirts too.
And we do, well, I don't know if we're going to have them there. We'll see.
Oh,
but
right.
and Corey and Aslan have a live show tonight after practice
after
at 8:30.
practice, we had a live show.
Well, 8:30, man, you guys
we're getting after it.
You're making sure that practice has been over for some time.
We're letting them marinate.
Well, 8:30. All right.
Well, I'm going to make them write something.
Live show tonight. Wake up Warchant version at 8:30 p.m. Yeah, this is a weird week. It's an exciting week with all that we have going on. Practice is going to suck. There's really not a lot they're going to be doing.
I think they'll have a good practice today.
Today is the day.
Yeah.
Thursday is kind of like what? A walkthrough? We don't know. That doesn't change anything for us. We're still going to be analyzing, discussing. We'll hear from Mike Norvell.
We'll come up with some content.
No, there's plenty of content still. I don't mean it that way. I just, when you're gearing towards the actual spring game, I can't imagine they're going to be getting after it unless today is the day. Today would be the day that they would.
So Corey wrote about the people at warchant.com can read it. Corey wrote about the 10th anniversary of the Jameis spring game.
How about that, Jeff?
10 years.
That's crazy.
It's been 10 years since that game.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That was a trivia question that Ira didn't know, was who he threw that first pass to.
It was a walk-on.
Couldn't remember,
David Tyrell.
Yeah, and
he beat LaMarcus.
That's my favorite part is that it was a walk-on beating LaMarcus Joyner.
Although LaMarcus, in your quote that you included in the piece, he was kind of admitting that, I'm lined up against some walk-on. Jameis's first play.
I'm not lollygagging.
I'm not really.
He throws a dime
focused.
down the right sideline. Yes,
the kid runs right by him.
Yeah,
Jameis throws a 58-yard touchdown.
Yeah, we'll get you some right off the bat. 10 years ago.
That's when I knew that he might be pretty good.
Do you think Clint could have put in his transfer paperwork during the game?
I feel like I remember it was very soon after. It was like a week after.
It was.
I
think
we're
it was
done
next
here.
Week.
Yeah.
Which was a good move for him. I mean, he's a smart enough guy and he's football savvy enough to know, I'm not playing above this kid. Coker's still back up.
It's kind of fun to watch and to go back and think of the conversations where I would try to pry things out of Jimbo going into the season, and because on the one hand, he would brag about how smart Jameis was, football intelligence through the roof, right? He's like, he's the only player I've ever had where we get in arguments about what he saw and he ends up being right over me and things like that. Like Jimbo would never admit that. Then on the other hand, so you'd start to talk it up. You'd be like, well, no, we don't know. We haven't seen in certain situations, like, come on, man, let's go. And he turned out to be really freaking good.
He tempered it even after the Pitt game. He's like, guys, it was one game. It's like, but
it was kind of a perfect game.
Did you see the game? I mean, have you seen your offense for the last 5 years and then seen that? That's a whole different game.
What's funny while we reminisce for a second is that our mutual friend Bill and Tom Lang were watching said Pitt game at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. And they all were sitting there with a pitcher of beer and some wings going, oh, what is this? We're going to win the national championship. This guy's a freak.
There was one play in that game. Like, it was all great. But there was one play. It was like, I feel like it was a zone read, and he kept it and started rolling to the right. And you're like, okay, he's lumbering for about 8 yards. And he stops on a dime and throws like a sidearm pass over the middle to Kenny Shaw for like 23 yards. And I'm like, oh, God.
That's different.
This has never been seen in this offense.
I even think the retreating back foot flick to O'Leary for the touchdown down the seams.
Yeah.
He's like,
when he's as he's getting hit.
Yeah.
All of it, man. All of it. I mean, before he became a quarterback, you just felt like with that offense, man, if you got into third and anything longer than 7 or 8, it was a wrap. Like, they couldn't ever convert because they didn't have decent receivers, and they didn't have quarterbacks that could do it. And it was just like, man, he just changed everything about that offense.
The before and after third down stuff is fantastic because it could be 3rd and 18.
It didn't matter.
Like, he's gonna throw a seed in between two people for a first down is what's gonna happen.
Jimbo started coaching differently, including in that Pitt game. He called a timeout where he never would have called a timeout before when Pitt had the ball with like a minute and a half.
Yeah, he's
left.
like, oh no, let me get this kid the ball back.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna call a timeout. I want the ball back to go try to score. Normally he would have coached kind of scared and been like, if they want to run out the clock, we'll let them run out the clock. We'll get to halftime with an 11-point lead. He's like, no. Let's go get the ball. I think Savage threw a pick on the next play. My man T. Brooks intercepted him, and then Jameis threw it to Rashad for a touchdown. The game was over.
Norvell doesn't need Jordan Travis to be aggressive. He's going to be aggressive anyway.
You ain't lying about that.
Well, and he's got a quarterback who figured it all out a year ago, and their offense, when you look at all those numbers and all the advanced metrics and everything, they were fantastic. And I can't wait to see this offense this year. A. Wright contributed to our effort, so I want to get to his question in the chat. All right, I'll be the guy that asked the dumb question. Do you think we'd have a better record with Meade as a coach right now? Not advocating for him, as I agree he had to go, but to go, obviously, but I am curious. No, I don't think we would. I think that those players are, by and large, his players.
And there's no guarantee that the players that are currently on the roster that were here last year would still be here.
I think
in some cases that'd be a good thing.
There was a strong feeling that some of the players you did want to stay would not have stayed.
That is correct. It was a nightmare, and it's continued to be a nightmare this year. And they lost the series to Clemson.
They won a game though. They
won the first game. They turned around and lost the next two.
They stopped the losing streak. That's all I cared about.
They really weren't even competitive in the next two.
That's fine. They got their one dub. They got the Gators tonight, right?
Really, if you take away a couple of 6-run innings, they were pretty
I
competitive.
thought you were about to talk about Taylor Swift, but this week, right?
Right. This week.
Steffi's going down Thursday morning for Taylor
Ira,
Swift.
are you going? When do you go?
No, I'm not going.
Oh, yeah.
The wife and kids are going on Friday.
So it's 2 nights, right?
I think it's
playing
3
3
nights.
Oh,
In a stadium. It's crazy, man. This is like there's nobody else like this in the country, right? They could sell out stadiums 3 nights in a row.
probably not.
Yeah.
Stones, maybe still.
I don't know. Probably not.
I don't know. Well,
I don't know, man. I don't know when the
We'll see.
Stones go on tour that it's like it shuts down the country like when her tickets went on.
yeah, I don't
Sell
think.
that
No, I don't think it does that. But I think the ability to sell out probably still high.
Yeah, maybe.
Our good friend Tom Block, the consummate professional,
He is. Yeah.
was in the market trying to find some second what do you call
Secondary
it?
tickets.
Secondary
market in the secondary.
tickets.
Yeah.
And having a tough go of it.
Pretty expensive.
Yeah, tough go of it.
Hey, you could get
10 grand?
tickets. How much you willing to spend, Tom? How much does it matter to you?
I don't know, but I went home and I was trying to convince Kim and the kids.
Oh,
Ira,
man.
come on,
Yeah,
man.
that's what you do right
Hey,
there.
they can do a lot of shopping.
Yeah.
And she'll be back on
She'll
tour
be
in
back
3 or
on
4
tour
years.
when it's less crazy.
Yeah.
Probably with better perspective on life. You won't
Yeah.
have to hear the same song over and over
She
again about
might-
a breakup.
She might
You're
be playing
set.
Ruby
Yeah.
Diamond
There you
in
go.
5 years.
You never know.
She just broke up with her boyfriend, by the way.
I'm glad we know that.
That's
So there's
tough.
some new inspiration.
That's good. It's going to be some more music for her.
But
tonight.
yeah, to the answer to the question, no, we don't think there would be any. Look, man, is it possible? Who knows? It's not like we could say that this staff has done an amazing job with this team. But no,
Clearly.
I don't think they're not the problem. We believe they're the solution, and that it's just going to take some time.
It is going to take some time. And when you hear different numbers thrown around out there about the possibility of 20 to 25 new players going into next year, it's hard to fathom, but it's distinctly possible. You cannot have a disastrous campaign like this one and not make radical changes. I mean, I feel for Link in a lot of ways. You're right. Nobody would describe him and his staff as having done a good job this year. But can you imagine a guy who loves Florida State as much as he does, was an All-American here and got this job, walked away from a good situation, not a great situation. Notre Dame is not a kingpin in college baseball, but gets the salary, but more than that, he wants to win, and he's going to be saddled with a record for the ages, and not in a good way. For the ages. I mean, alongside your name, synonymous is this sorry-ass campaign,
All the
worst in
streaks.
Florida State history.
But
With
not
all
only
the
that,
streaks,
the only losing season in Florida State history,
Yeah.
most likely. They're missing the tournament for the first time since Jimmy Carter was president.
Well, you don't know. That could be a magical run.
I mean, I know there isn't going to be.
I'm
a
not.
magical run.
I'm not Corey Clark. I'm not C-Dub.
Mm.
I'm not. I don't usually come up with the avant-garde, creative solutions to problems the way you do.
Sure.
Like the throw in the basketball up in the air. But I would, or it was
It was basketball. Yeah, FAU lost the national title because they wouldn't do
But
it.
I've got one.
Okay.
So if you're Link,
Okay.
could you maybe come up with a little music class scandal to have this record vacated?
Oh, that's not a bad
Could you
play. Yeah,
turn
you just
yourself
go
in?
0-0.
Like go in the classroom, give a
raise
bunch of
your
kids the
hand and do
answers,
the same dumbassery that we did before. Yeah.
and then the season's vacated, and this season doesn't exist.
And those players wouldn't be ineligible, I wouldn't think, for next year. And if they
Well,
are, some of them, you'd be like,
You're
oh,
like,
sorry, man.
tragic, can't play
Shouldn't
you.
have cheated.
Yeah.
What do we think?
I mean, it's not a bad play, Ira. If you're thinking about the records, yeah, I don't think that's a bad.
I think
play at
I'm
all.
excited about the single biggest turnaround in program history after this season when they go to the tournament next year. We're going to be talking about, and it'll be a distant memory, this terrible campaign.
By the way, I think you had them maybe going 3-1 in last week.
I did. Started out a little rough, gave up a grand slam in the first against Jacksonville. I was
right.
there for that, but then rallied back to
Almost win,
lost 5-4. Thought maybe that was an indicator of good things to come. They win the Friday or the Thursday game.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so it's close now. We narrowly lost on Tuesday, got the win on Thursday. Let's take this series.
Bombed on Friday.
But alas, got their ass beat on Friday and then lost the final game of the series to a bad Clemson team. And
hey, Clemson found themselves.
Yeah.
everybody does against Florida State
Clemson righted
pitching.
the ship.
Everybody finds it. confidence in the box all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
weird.
guys, facing Florida State pitching.
It's like the basketball teams. All of a sudden, one of their slumping shooters all of a sudden is like, oh, he's 5 of 7 from 3.
So on that note, we got to go to break. This will be the lone time we talk Seminole basketball. So a couple of days ago, I tallied it up. There were 927 players who had entered the transfer portal.
More than that.
At the time.
Yeah.
At the time. And 124 of them had been signed at that time. Now, we did know about Caleb Mills leaving, which was a good thing for Florida State. Now, we had courted the FIU shooting guard, right? Denver Jones, wasn't that one that we had talked about? He ended up transferring to Auburn.
Back home. He's from Alabama.
We didn't get him. We're going for Jalen Deloach, the younger brother of Kalen Deloach.
Correct.
How are we feeling about that, guys?
I don't know. He's got good options. He would be a nice addition.
Mm-hmm.
You would assume the Deloach family is speaking well of Florida State.
All right.
But there's plenty of competition.
All right. What about 6'4" LaSalle shooting guard Josh Nickelberry?
He's the one I think they've got the best shot at, it seems like, just based on the relationships with Leonard Hamilton. They recruited him coming out of high school in North Carolina. He's not a guy. He's not like one of the top 5 players in the portal.
No.
But he would be a nice player, 6th man of the year in their conference.
Not probably changing the program much, though.
No, but again, from what you had, it's like people were like mad at the Kansas guard who mentioned Florida State. And it's like, okay, he played 12 minutes a game at Kansas. I'm going to guess he'd play a pretty significant role for this team. I'm just saying, I think people need to set their sights a little bit lower than maybe. Like, you can't get mad that you didn't get the guy that scores 20 a game that everybody in the country wanted.
What about Primo Spears? What do we feel about that?
Yeah, we don't know. He's in the top 4.
Yeah, that's Georgetown.
16 points, 6 assists, something like that.
Yeah.
Feel
like
a horrible team on a horrible team. Yeah, man. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, and then the one.
Well, you got the Hosford kid. What did I say? Hosford. What am I talking about? Hofstra.
That's where my dad went to school, by the way.
Hofstra?
I feel like I should.
Did he go to Hofstra or Hosford?
My dad went to Hofstra.
Okay.
I was thinking of Dickie Hosford.
I feel like I should DM him and say, hey, man, my dad went to Hofstra.
He's passed on, but he did.
Yeah, and it was 60 years
I thought
ago.
you meant
it would mean a lot.
DM
It might
your
mean a
dad.
lot.
It would mean a lot.
No,
You should do it. No, so are we going to get any of these guys?
I don't know. Yeah, he might be. I just want to get Nickelberry because it's a cool name. And he shoots. He's a 40% 3-point shooter. So you pair him with Darren Green. You probably can't guard anyone, but you're going to be raining threes.
All right,
I'm cool with.
And Jeff Culhane will say he's your Nickelberry.
I like that. Yeah. By the way, so the portal is officially open until May the 11th. So let's.
That's for people that are going in.
Yeah,
You want him to start. You want to start getting some good news.
You want some traction.
You want a little bit of traction.
I'm just arguing you'd like to get some traction.
I mean,
like
there are thousands of guys in there now. You want a little bit of traction in Florida State to land. You want to see big get for Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah.
You want to see a tweet somewhere like that. So let's hope that happens.
And Caleb ended up at Memphis.
He did.
All right, so we put a ribbon on it. That's it.
Yep.
That's
And
it.
we're done.
That's
We're
it
done
for
with
FSU
baseball
basketball.
We
and
knocked out
basketball.
baseball and
We got
basketball.
it all
One
done
second.
in this fail swoop
You want to
right
go back
here.
to my Publix trip?
No. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Tallahassee Police Department is investigating after one man was shot while riding in a car with others early Saturday. The shooting incident took place around 12:48 a.m. in the area of Mock Drive and Laura Lee Avenue. The adult male victim was riding in a car with other individuals when gunshots struck the car and him. TVD reports the victim arrived at a local hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Shell casings were located at the scene. The police department said there is no suspect description, and it is unclear if the victim was the target of the shooting. This case remains open and active. Both Andrew Gillum and Sharon Letman Hicks were in Tallahassee's federal court Monday afternoon as attorneys argued for hours for the admissibility of evidence in the case, including a series of secret FBI recordings in Gillum's 2019 settlement with the Florida Ethics Commission. It's not clear when the judge will rule on the many motions argued in court Monday. The hearing is now set to continue on Thursday afternoon. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 76. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Lows level off around 57. Slight chance for scattered rain showers tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 78. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears. eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
MLB is finally back in full swing, and MyBookie is going to be your one-stop shop for all your betting needs with a wide range of betting options, including money lines, run lines, totals, and futures. MyBookie gives you plenty of ways to bet on your favorite teams and players. You can also take advantage of brand new MyBookie Money Bag, which gives you the chance to secure a bet on your favorite team or player at insanely boosted odds. Sign up today at MyBookie. Use the promo code WARCHANT to secure a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit $200 and play with $300 instantly. Just use promo code WARCHANT to claim your bonus. If you're a baseball fan looking to add even more excitement to the new season, look no further than MyBookie. Sign up now. Get ready to experience the thrill of baseball betting like never before. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
When do you think you made your first sports bet beyond like just a buddy $5?
Raiders, Redskins, 1983 Super Bowl, Tampa Stadium.
Now, what's funny about that is that was one of my first bets in class with a buddy for like $5.
Yeah,
I bet. Like, what about like with a real bookie or somebody like a real bet?
So like a bookie.
It's funny that you the same game, $5.
Yeah,
mine was next year. It was the Dolphins 49ers.
Yep, I bet a lot of money, and
I bet a lot of money.
Like $100, like I bet like $100.
You did not bet $100.
Yeah, we did our lunch tickets.
Well, remember how he grew up?
There should have been.
He had $100 just for lunch money.
That was like $1,000 on Jimmy Carter
exactly right.
from Northeast 6th Avenue.
Let's see here.
The reason I ask
Marcus Allen did the famous play in the backfield and then went to the house, and I remember celebrating that.
The reason I ask is because like college kids now, like we have a new employee at Warchant.
They gamble, baby.
Yeah, Evans, an intern.
Part of their life.
Yeah,
it's just how they grow up.
And that, like they talk about gambling, like we talked about. Well,
women
preparation age.
Yeah. No, you know what? You're right. It's a beautiful thing. I love that it's incorporated in every aspect of our life.
I mean,
preparation age.
No, gambling.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's cool, but like,
got to know what you're doing.
Well, it'd be really cool if it was legal in this state. With an app.
It was for a hot minute.
I was great.
I loved
it.
Betting man, I was
just like live betting. Like, the Florida Gators basketball team is up by 17 points right now. They're getting minus 800 to win. All right, well, here's $30. I'll turn that into 31.50 anytime.
You have an interesting methodology. Yeah,
I know I do.
He likes winning these $4 here, $5 there. Yeah.
But it was cool that you could do that, and we can't really.
I had a bookie in college, I think. I did, off and on. I had a bookie that had to run. I had a bookie one time that had to flee the city.
It wasn't the same bookie that
Adrian McPherson
and all the guys were using, was it?
I do not believe so.
All right.
And that was alleged.
You can
right?
confirm.
It was all allegedly anyhow. So, I don't think so. Hey, Mark asked the question, go Headlines. Corey, will they have an open-air press box for the spring game?
No. They won't.
They won't because you can't.
Yeah, Mark, you're the best. Thank you for the donation.
Yeah, thanks,
Same
Mark.
with who was the guy that asked the baseball question? I don't remember his name, but I didn't get to say thanks to him. But
I will.
A right.
Yeah,
I think wrong. A right.
Yeah.
But Mark from Naples. Man, that's one of my. I hope if Alfred is going to do some serious renovations,
I'm with you on that.
Oh yeah, well, it's going to be open. It's also going to be in the corner.
Well, that's
like we're going to lose the.
Is that right?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure, man. There's
that's not what you do.
No stadium that's been renovated in the last 20 years has put the media anywhere near the 50-yard line.
They have those 1974 suites across the way from the press box that they could do something with.
I'm sure they're going to be sold too.
All right,
we're going to be like in Gainesville. We're going to be in the corner.
Also wants to know if we're going to handle LSU comfortably or will it be a street fight? It'll be a street fight. LSU's good. That's going to be a great game. Both teams will take that game very seriously. Both teams got a lot better after that game last year. Simultaneously, both kicking ass from that point forward. Really,
we didn't know how good that win was at the time.
Yeah, and I just think that game's going to be awesome. I really think that if you're a Florida State fan, I think you're going to be nervous in the fourth quarter. Not in a bad way. It's just that I think it's going to be that kind of close.
You can't be more nervous than you were in the final 30 seconds.
Yeah, but that was weird because you were really comfortable for a lot of that game until they fell to pieces in the fourth quarter. If you don't fumble on the inch line, you blow LSU out.
We thought we were going to be calling for a new coach.
Yeah, that was tough, man. And he knew it too. That's why he celebrated like they won the Super Bowl.
Shaheem Brown, man. Him and Shaheem, there needs to be an NIL deal.
I think he just
Norvell
jogs past him and gives him $100 every now and again. just thinking about you today, Shaheem. Yeah.
I got an $8 million contract in large part because of your right hand.
Yeah.
So here you go.
But I mean, seriously, I think that both teams are going to want to win. Everybody wants to win every game, but I think that will be an intense game. And they're both equipped to do something about it. They both have talented mobile quarterbacks. They both have really physical offensive and defensive lines. They both have skill players that are going to go on to the league. That game will be one of the more entertaining games of the season.
LSU probably has the best player on the field in that Perkins kid.
Yeah, he's a stud.
But Florida State has. There's a lot of NFL guys.
I was going to say there's some dudes over here.
And Florida State's got some real NFL guys, and Florida State might have the best offense. Probably will have the best offense that LSU sees all season, I would think.
Yeah, man, and you can't get here soon enough. I haven't really eagerly anticipated a game quite like this in a long time. Even last year's game in New Orleans, I was excited to go to New Orleans and hang out and have a good time with you guys and Florida State fans everywhere.
Unranked teams.
Well,
now it's two top 10 teams.
Right. This is very different. It also feels because the schedule kind of stinks.
Yeah.
You got that game and you got the road Clemson game and whatever that's the fourth game of the season. And then a lot of it's just whatever. Like I'm going to take great joy in beating the bejesus out of Miami again. That'll be fun.
Or Wake, if that could ever happen.
Yeah,
again,
no, that'd be
awesome.
great. And in certain ways, you really anticipate every game. But man, it feels like if you win that game, you're really very close to being a playoff team through one result.
Yeah.
What's funny about that game is we didn't realize also, I thought that being in New Orleans was going to be this huge advantage for LSU. But man, FSU's fan base was unreal.
That was great. It was incredible, wasn't it?
It had to be 50-50, right?
Maybe LSU fans were just kind of like ho-hum. We were in New Orleans all the time.
And
whereas the rest of us were starving. We were ready.
But wait until you see LSU fans don't get a chance to go to a city like Orlando much. So they're going to come in droves.
Where do they usually go for fun?
We're gonna be at the
they go to the swamps, I think, and just gig alligators.
We'll be at the Harry Buffalo, I think, again.
Think so.
Doing it up, doing a broadcast, having everybody. Man, I know of a ton of people. The show's dad, my dad, will be there. He's pumped. He's coming to the game. He's ready to go. He said he wants to party with the three of us.
Will he be at the spring game this weekend?
No, he doesn't do spring games.
Spring showcase, Ira, and it's a sausage showcase more than it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to be there.
It's really you're playing the same team in the same exact part of the schedule or same exact part of the calendar as you did last year. And the game feels so much different.
It's huge.
It just does. Like we knew it was a big game for Mike Norvell. It'd be a big win to go beat LSU in New Orleans, which it was. But now you're talking about like the whole nation watching a top 10 matchup when there are real expectations.
Yeah, the excitement about that game was, hey, here's a chance for Florida State and Mike Norvell to get a win against a big name school that probably isn't as good.
Yes. But they had better players. We knew they had better players.
But you thought you're getting them at the right time.
A bad season.
Right. New coaching staff,
new
coordinators,
new quarterback, all that. You're like, this is the time. This is the one chance you're going to get to really beat LSU. And then now you got them again, and you have just as good a chance this year.
Now, it's kind of flipped to a degree where LSU is going to see Florida State as an opportunity to get a big signature win. It would be a signature win for them.
Yeah, and the other part of it is if you're LSU and you have a sense of history, you're about damn tired of FSU beating that ass because we own LSU. Own it. It's brutal. And so if you're LSU, at some point you're like, we got to beat Florida State. This is old. What are they, 2-7 against Florida State? It's
I was trying to
awful.
think of they beat them in like 83 and maybe 81.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't beat them in 83. I think they beat them in 81.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time.
They can't remember it. They were all pumped up for that Jerry DiNardo team, but no.
Bobby Bowden's 200th win was against LSU, and they were carrying him off the shoulders until the fight broke out, and they had to drop him to go fight the
Think
rest
about
of the
that.
LSU
So
team.
you lose the game, you get your ass whipped in a fight on the field. It's
know.
brutal. They're tired of us.
Maybe like Corey Clark fans will bring some preparation H to hand out to LSU fans before the game. It's just kind of like just give you an idea of what,
So they're 2-8. I gave them more credit than they deserve. Th're 2-8.
I want to know the other.
us.
Did they lose? Did Florida State lose to LSU recently, or was it like in the 60s or something?
You
I know
gotta
they
go.
lost to
You
them in
gotta-
81.
You're gonna have to go back.
I'll look
eons
it up.
ago.
I'll look it up during the break.
So yeah, we've won 5 straight from 83 to now. 5 straight against
Okay.
LSU.
Yeah.
They want none of this. They're tired of this ass kicking.
Yeah, it gets old. It gets old. It's been 4 decades of this.
They drive around Baton Rouge, reminiscing of the days when they beat Florida State like 60 years ago.
Shut down Greg Allen.
It was a long, long time
Shut
ago.
down Greg Allen.
Then Bobby had to go to Florida State. We haven't beaten them since. It's aggravating.
That's actually a really good what if in Florida State history.
Here's your answer.
68 Peach Bowl.
1968 in Atlanta, 31-27 in the Peach, as Ira just alluded to.
And was the other one 81?
And then they beat
82.
us 55-21 in 82.
Okay.
And that's an ass stomp, and they got out a lot of frustrations there.
That 79 game was a really big game because Bobby Bowden was in the mix to go to LSU. And he was thinking about going to LSU.
24-19, it's an undefeated season for Florida State.
They go to Baton
Before
Rouge,
losing to Oklahoma.
win the game, and Bowden's like, well, why would I go there? I've already got a better team than they do right now. I can win here at Florida State.
That is the other good part of this, is if you look at it. So the wins for Florida State in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, there's a stomping in 90, 42-3 that I had forgotten about.
That's the where Bowden's 200th win where the fight.
Yeah, the fight happened. They're frustrated, 42-3.
Yeah.
But then you get another win in Baton Rouge. You get another win in Baton Rouge.
Mike Archer or Curly Hallman? Who was that?
It's hard to keep track. I think maybe Mike Archer.
Another win in Baton Rouge. Another win in Baton Rouge. A shutout in Baton Rouge, just bending them over. You got another one in Baton Rouge, and then goodness gracious, it doesn't matter where, anywhere in Louisiana, they just lose to Florida State.
That's what they do.
Now they're happy to go to Orlando. They're like, please,
different.
God, get us out of Baton Rouge. We can't beat Florida State.
We have an excuse now.
Just whooping after
And they're
whooping.
still mad about Mendoza. Mendoza beat them to get to the worst Florida State team of all time until this one beats them to go to the College World Series.
All right, hour number 2, headliner questions forthcoming. Hang in there, everybody.
Heating and cooling is the job we do. Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. Florida license number CMC 050334.
Parker Services, conferences to call away. Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose up to 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiestakeout.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. With Foodies Takeout and Delivery, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiestakeout.com.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at woodenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games.
Coming up next, for more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3.
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games.
Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Tampa Bay Rays 9-0 to start the season, matching the Kansas City Royals 9-0 start in 2003, the best start in 20 years in Major League Baseball. Rays have outscored their opponents 75-18 to start the season. Jalen Beeks on the mound today for the Rays, another 58 favorite against Nick Pavetta and the Red Sox, plus 144, 8.5 under the total. Atlanta Braves, $1.90 favorite at home with Cincinnati, plus 175. Bryce Elder for the Braves against Graham Ashcraft of the Cincinnati Reds. Tomorrow, the Atlanta Hawks visit the Miami Heat of the NBA play-in tournament. Heat the 4.5-point home favorite, total 226. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
those stomach issues ruined your birthday?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We see them every day. People driving using their phones. There's the sneak-a-peeker or the fast scroller who can quickly become the fender benderer, the got-a-ticketer, or the driver who kills someone. Pay attention or pay the price. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Right now, get 50% off everything at Banana Republic Factory for a limited time during the spring celebration event. From elevated event dresses to versatile linen styles. Save today at your nearest Banana Republic Factory store.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows who Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, headliner questions on your way. I'm Jeff. There's Corey. There's Ira. There's all of you in Twitter and Facebook asking questions. There's also our friends at Birch Orthodontics. There you go. Yay, Dr. Birch. We appreciate your support and your awesome staff.
Also, more big news. Dr. Birch is going to be providing orthodontic procedures at the game, at the spring show.
Oh,
that's
there's
no way.
Yeah, right by the concession stand.
No, not gonna
She
happen.
would. But
That'd
no.
be really cool. Just you eat the sausage, go get your teeth fixed. Not that the sausage caused that.
Right, understood. You're knocking off
Clean
both
it
of
up,
our
there you go.
big sponsors.
I feel like Ben is like trying to one up Dr. Birch, because last week we made the big announcement that she's donating $20,000.
I don't know that you can one up that. That's impressive.
Well, he might be trying to one up it.
We like it when they try to one up each other. Keep it going.
So just
you
as
know,
a-
you know that you should compete to see who can pay us the most
right
for the
That too.
sponsorship and really get after it.
That too. I do want to remind everybody that if you follow Birch Orthodontics on social media, you can go to their Facebook, Twitter, wherever else they use. You can use their Venmo to donate to match,
which is awesome.
What Dr. Birch is doing. This is really awesome. She's donating $20,000 to celebrate her 20th anniversary.
I was adding money to the list.
Maybe 25, maybe 30.
Could be 50.
Of her own money, $4,000 to each of these 5 charities, local charities, making a difference in our community. One is Trent's Touch.
Yep.
One is Making Miracles Group Home. One is TMH Cancer Center. One is the Hang Tough Foundation. And one is Carter's Corner. And so again, Dr. Birch is donating $4,000 to each of those, $20,000 to celebrate her 20th anniversary, and also trying to get $20,000 from the community to match it, so she can donate $40,000.
And making Tallahassee a better place.
There you go.
Kind of what we do, but she's been doing it for a lot longer.
That's right. Why should I believe FSU can defeat LSU with the two teams' current blue chip ratio and number of NFL-ready players definitely favors LSU? Well, they just did it a year ago, and that was also true.
And it wasn't a fluky win. Like the end was fluky, sure.
Yeah.
And if he'd have gone for 2, Florida State would have lost. But he didn't go for 2. You blocked the extra
He should have
point.
gone for 2.
But I think you outgained. I mean, you were outgaining them by quite a lot until the fourth quarter when they just ran through all over you. But like
the other answer is Jordan Travis is the better quarterback.
Yeah,
but it's a legitimate concern. They are really good. I mean, we saw it early in that game, especially before their first round defensive lineman went out with an injury.
Helpful.
That was
helpful.
That was a positive development for Florida State.
Yeah.
We'd also like it if maybe it takes them a couple more games to get really back to full speed.
Yeah.
This season, but it's going to be
it's a great game.
It's a great game.
Is that guy back?
I mean, he should be. It's ACL 12 months. So.
But no, I mean he didn't go to.
Oh
the
no.
league.
He's back for
the receiver.
Mason
Isn't
Smith.
not that he did anything in that game anyway, but Butte is gone, right? He's
after the alleged scandal.
Yeah, he's gone.
No, LSU's got a really good team, and they have a good coach and a good coaching staff and a good quarterback and talent everywhere. It's not going to be an easy game. That's what we were saying at the end of last hour, that basically, look, if you win it, you're going to have to really play well. And I think they can. I mean, I think it feels like a coin flip game. So
yeah, and
let's
also I know I get the blue chip ratio, and I don't want to get into a larger conversation about this necessarily, but I don't know that really applies. I mean, Jared Verse, what is he? What star ranking is he? What is Jordan Travis's star ranking? Like
Trey Benson was a 3-star, I think.
Jared Verse was a 0-star. Jordan Travis was a 3-star. Like those are clearly 5-star guys. Whatever they looked like in 2017 or 2019 when they were coming out of high school, they're not those guys.
No, that's a good point.
So just throwing that out there.
I keep going back to the quarterback.
And you've got no, you're right. Jordan Travis is an X factor for sure.
Yeah.
An X and a Y and a Z factor.
Yeah, he's the best quarterback. And
that
of the
changes
two
a
teams,
lot.
it does.
But also on top of that, you have even these offensive linemen that weren't 4-star offensive linemen or 5-star offensive linemen are now 7th-year linemen.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there's
grown ass men out there with a mortgage, divorce under their belt, the whole deal.
That's
and Byers wasn't a
right.
He was a 1-star recruit too, and clearly, he'd probably start for LSU.
Right.
I mean, so it does. I get it. I'm not disputing that stars matter, because of course they do. But in this particular matchup, with all the transfers you brought in from Braden Fisk to Jeremiah Byers, Trey Benson, I feel like the talent level is especially on the starting 22, is pretty close.
Burke writes, scenario: FSU loses a close game to Clemson.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo.
Great song. But wins the rest. Louisville goes 7-1 against the easiest ACC schedule. Unless Clemson drops 2 ACC games, they're playing the Cardinals for the ACC title, and FSU is left out. Could 11-1 FSU still make the 14 playoff? Well, Burke, remember, this is the first year we don't have divisions. We don't have the Atlantic, the Coastal. It's the highest ranked team that will be going in all likelihood to that ACC championship game. And if FSU is 11-1 with their only loss a road game to Clemson, which means they will have won a game against LSU,
they'll be 5th in the country.
They'll be going to the ACC championship game despite that loss to Clemson, in my opinion, especially because Louisville's schedule is a child's schedule.
Well, in Louisville, they wouldn't have a tiebreaker over Florida State, right? There'd be no tiebreaker that they would get in over Florida State. They both have the same record.
So Florida State would go because they would be the higher ranked team, we do believe. That's my opinion on that, right?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think that's the answer. Jeannie writes, which first year at FSU, so include the portal, player has really stood out as fitting into the climb mentality? We need a great punt returner who's going to have the job next year. All right, well.
Was that 2 questions?
Yeah, she snuck in 2.
All right.
She's a
2
sneaker.
for 1.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think Micah Pittman will probably be the punt returner. That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Yeah, if Pittman's not back, I think Vandrevius Jacobs may be the guy.
I don't know, but you throw a true freshman back there.
In the first game against LSU?
It's happened before.
I know. I don't know that I would do
cool as a cucumber, Corey.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that, but I coach scared.
You do.
Yeah.
You always have.
Yeah.
That's where I think I got an advantage on you. I'm aggressive.
You are aggressive.
I'm not worried. When I got athletes, I'm going to use them.
Your ball's out.
You're scared to death.
Balls with a Z.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Keep it classy.
Uh-huh.
So what was the first part of the question?
First year player that buys into the climb mentality.
If first year meaning freshman or transfer?
Or transfer portal.
We'll say transfer.
I think I like Jeremiah Byers, man. That kid's got personality for days. I mean, he loves every part of practice. He's like Jared Verse on offense.
Yeah.
Like he is.
Yeah, he's into it.
Man, even if he doesn't win his rep, I mean, like there's a passion there that's really cool.
Farmer is that way as well,
Casey
man.
Roddick, man.
Roddick is that way.
DeAndre Jones has a good personality.
Aforementioned Vandrevius Jacobs.
Yeah.
As a freshman, if you want that kid.
And
right
then,
off the bat.
if you're getting coached by Odell, Daryl Jackson too is. He's just. I don't know what kind of.
Just a lot of guys.
Physically, he's been something. So,
Which position group or player, this is from Timmy, will you guys be focusing on during the spring game this Saturday? All day, Dre. I want to see how he handles it. How well does he play, and does he get a lot of opportunities?
I agree. I think receivers. I don't know, man. It's hard with the line of scrimmage.
I'm going to go Rodney Hill.
Okay.
I like that. Rodney's had a good camp.
Are they tackling?
They're not tackling him.
No. Hey, amen. I didn't know if they're tackling. I assume they are. I assume they still let kids tackle in spring games.
I don't know. Or is it like a Pro Bowl tackle?
I don't know what they're doing, man. Spring games,
showcase.
They're what they are.
It's a showcase. That's right.
It's just like, it's a chance to get together. It's a chance to get together.
To get together and tailgate.
Eat some sausage.
Yeah, eat some sausage.
That's right.
But I would think the receivers, I do want to see which one of, like a guy that hasn't really done anything on a stage like this or much, if they have a big game.
Glenn brings up the tight ends in the chat. Yeah, man.
I like that too. Jaheim Bell could have a big game.
Yeah. And
we'll see.
We like Morlock. We like that whole group.
We do. Like Biscuit as well. If Jamie would have come back, how much would your percentage of us going all the way have gone up?
They would have gone up.
Yeah.
I mean,
it would have gone up. I still have questions. It wouldn't change the questions that I have about linebacker. It wouldn't change, like, are we good enough at say, corner? But, yeah, it would have gone up because you would have had a secured spot at safety that you feel really good about.
you would have tried to move him to linebacker.
He kind of was. They moved him close to the line of scrimmage, and he made a ton of tackles.
But that would have given you a really good player, really good college football player at almost every spot on the team, every level of the team. Linebacker, sure, you still don't have a really good college player, but you'd have a really good safety. You have maybe multiple good corners.
Well, and he helped out because
he,
in run support, he was very, very good.
And I still say, I mean, from an NFL potential standpoint, I think Shaheem Brown's still a better prospect.
I want to see it, Shaheem. That's
but
a
he's
guy
got
to
to show it.
I want to look. I want, you don't ever want to watch your quarterbacks, I guess, throw interceptions, but I want to see 38 make some plays. I want to see 38 start making some
Marcus has added to the chat and contribution. Gents, I just want to wish you a great day. Maybe ask what the worst case scenario is for the season and how we get there. Number 13, injury is the only path. Hey, man, come on, Marcus. We appreciate that, but let's not throw that out in the ether.
Yeah, don't put that out there in the universe.
Yeah. Don't you put that on us, Ricky Bobby.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, if he got hurt, I mean, hell, that's a problem. Schedule's still light enough they win 10 games, even without him, I think. But
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do. I think that you can accidentally win 9. You'd lose to Clemson.
Yeah, you could get there.
Yeah, you could get there.
Oh, you could get there. I just wouldn't say it's an absolute.
No, I'm not saying it's an absolute, but you'd likely win 10 games. You're going to beat the bejesus out of several teams. Just handing the ball off with this offensive line and that back. Yeah, listen, you wouldn't ask Tate to do too much. I guess if you have, again, I mean, that's true with any team, Marcus, to be fair. Let's say you lose worst case scenario and without being doomsday. You lose a squeaker, which could easily happen to LSU. That could be a toss-up game. You lose on the road to Clemson at night.
If you lose those 2 games in the first month, it could affect a lot of things about the team.
Yep.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden,
you're 21st in the country and your expectations that were so high.
They're shot.
Yes. And then how do you respond?
Well, and that's something that, and Ira, we brought this up before. We all watch it, and we've seen it at FSU before when FSU was great. But when you're a perennial power and your goal is to compete for and play in national championship games or the college football playoff these days, if that is stripped from you, the ability to do that is taken from you early in a season, we see teams go drastically different directions. Guys will just go through the motions and they get beat on a random Saturday against somebody who it means a lot more to because they already had an upset loss in the season and the chance for them to play in the aforementioned national championship game is gone. Guys will go through the motions. It does happen when that is your one and only goal. And I'm not saying that's the case for this team, but I'm saying they do expect to be in the conference championship. Yeah. They do expect to win 10 or more games. They do expect to be in the national conversation. If you lose 2 of your first 4 games and the only 2 good teams you play you lose to, you're right. You may have to face that reality. Like, can I get this team up for the rest of the games?
The other thing, and this was brought up to me by somebody that I think we've even talked about it before, but it was brought up to me by somebody at practice the other day, a high school football coach who I know. He pointed out just, as playing devil's advocate, that you got all these guys back, and that's awesome. But what we just saw with North Carolina basketball, that just because you get everybody back doesn't mean everything else stays the same. And that's not to say that we don't expect that. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this team is still hungry. It's a different world than North Carolina basketball. And you're not talking about 5 guys, you're talking about a whole football team.
Right.
But that's one thing. Again, if you're things to guard against is that kind of a scenario.
You would also hope, though, that getting to the Final Four and being a couple minutes from the national championship is different than played in the Cheez-It Bowl.
You would think.
You would hope that. And also, even if you lose to Clemson, you lose those first 2 games in September, you still can win the ACC championship, which hasn't been done here in almost a decade.
Yeah, man, but that's going to take a hell of a pep talk.
I mean, I don't know. Really? You think
you would like to not think that, Corey, but I think they believe they're a playoff team.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. But an ACC championship,
it ain't nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, go 10-2. Yeah.
I think it would be I would hope it would be to them.
Well, and I would say that if you go and you were to go 10-2, win the ACC championship in the rematch against Clemson, you'd go 11-2, win that, and you'd be in a great bowl. It's not a terrible season, but it's not.
It's not why a lot of those guys came back.
Yeah.
I know. It's tough when you haven't really done anything in a long time. It's hard to poo-poo the idea of winning a conference championship and wrestling away that title from Clemson for the first time in eons.
That would be
tired
motivational. But I'm an old man, so maybe that's just me.
Allison writes, longtime listener, first-time caller. Since we've agreed to no longer talk about the baseball team and hopefully Taylor Swift, can we talk about the awesome –
Too late.
She wrote that, by the way. Can we talk about the awesome weekend the softball team had at Clemson? Lonnie has put together a great pitching staff that I think will help them go deep into the postseason. Your thoughts?
I didn't read the story. I should, but it's not normal what they're doing with the staff, right?
Yeah, and that's what there's a lot of that in the story.
Like she pitches like 4 and 5 women repeatedly. Like Sandra, Alabama would pitch that Montana Fouts girl every game. She pitches Sandra Cock. She'll start one game. She'll pitch 2 innings in the second game and pitch nothing in the third game, perhaps. It's pretty. It's revolutionary, I guess, is what she's trying to do.
What are your thoughts on that, Corey?
Well, I think, and what the argument, and Chris Nee was telling me about this because we were at the baseball game the other night watching another loss.
Yeah, another one.
We were talking about softball.
They're piling up.
You would have been at the softball game, but they're out of town.
Yes, they were up at Clemson. But
you'd have been across the street at that parking garage drinking.
Probably.
Celebrating softball.
She, the reasoning is, and this is this speaks to Lonnie Alameda and her intelligence but her feeling is the hitting, the offenses have changed in college softball. So the pitching needs to change. Like the days of
she wants to get out in front of it.
Yeah. The days of just thinking, okay, I've got this awesome starter and they're just going to start every game. Look at these offenses now.
Yeah.
Like that's not probably going to be
and
all
you
that
can
effective.
time her up the second time through, or the 8th time through if you keep.
Hey, so I have a question. That's well and good during the regular season here. Like, is Oklahoma doing that?
Well, they've got like one of those. I think maybe
I don't know.
They might be.
Hey, we'll look that up during the break.
I'm curious. I mean, yeah,
it was a great win. It was awesome that Clemson was 36-1 and then won 29 straight at home and then gets swept in their own place. That was pretty awesome.
Get you some.
Devin Flaherty the starting second baseman, who's really good. Hurt her shoulder somehow. We don't know how extensive that is, but it didn't look great. It looked like it could be a dislocation or a separation. And you wonder, I don't know.
Yeah, there's talk out there that may not. Hopefully,
let's hope not. But that was tough to watch. So hopefully she's okay because she's a very important part of the team. But yeah, it's cool that Lonnie's. You've got a head coach that kind of sees the game differently.
Josh writes, fellas, at what point during the season do you think Link said to his staff, gents, Jameis Winston isn't walking out of that dugout? Seriously though, where would Jameis Winston rank if he were on this roster's pitching staff? Well, in shape. Not the guy bouncing first pitches that we just saw recently before all the football injuries. He had a 92-mile-per-hour slider the one year. So, yeah, he'd be high on the list of guys that you would utilize, I would think.
He'd be nasty.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
And he'd also hit in the middle of the lineup.
He was your closer. Yeah, he was your closer for a good team, the number 1 team in the country. He was the closer back when Florida State was ranked number 1 in the country.
Yes.
So that was weird. I was talking about this the other night, that his first year that he pitched, I was in North Carolina. I was at Chapel Hill, and they had a radar gun. This was before all the other video boards. And he was sitting constantly 97 or 98. And Colin Moran, very good college hitter that was drafted very high in the Major League. I think he got a hit off him, but he had to spoil like 5. He couldn't catch up with the fastball. And I remember Meat telling me the story afterwards that when he went to coach third the next inning and Colin Moran was playing third, he's like, hey, partner, how tough? He's like, how was that to hit? He goes, that's the toughest stuff we've faced all year. That's the most velocity we faced all year. The next year, he didn't throw that hard.
No.
But the slider was a wipeout slider.
It was a wipeout slider.
Like
that was the thing.
I'm convinced he could have been a major league pitcher. I think he had major league
I
stuff.
don't think there's any doubt. Yeah. And when you talk to baseball people, like inside baseball people, they're all like, yeah.
If he had focused
if he
on
decided
baseball,
it was only going to be baseball.
Yeah.
That kind of good.
So, so I wonder, though, from going from 98 with the fastball to 92 with the fastball the next year, just a lot of arm, a lot of footballs thrown, kind of takes a little the juice
Takes
out
a
of
little bit out of you, yeah. I always recall that I would crack up when he showed up to baseball, because he was always out of shape. He's huge. He's like fat man in a little coat standing out there on the mound. It was hilarious. I was like, what happened? James just said, screw it. But he was dealing with all the injuries from football, and he couldn't really work out. He'd come back over to baseball, and he had ballooned up. More headliner questions forthcoming. Stay with Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
A cup of Joe, Java, brew, go-go beans, brain water, liquid lightning, wakey juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Get to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
Car accident? Call Facing Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Discover the tastes of Peru at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. Con amor y pasión, with love and passion, Café de Martín is a fine Peruvian dining experience in an approachable, comfortable, cultural-rich space built for creating memories to last a lifetime. Enjoy happy hour daily with a full bar, handcrafted cocktails, beers on draft and bottle, paired with a selection of Peruvian tapas like crispy fried yuca with house-made huancaína sauce, carefully selected charcuterie boards, a selection of fresh ceviches, and so much more. It's Café de Martín and El Bar. Escape to Peru, a country of great culture, beauty, and food right here in the capital city. Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Some people call me Paul because I work at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Everyone that works here will proudly answer to the name Paul. One of the things I love about my job is that I get to help people fix their problems every day. If you have pests in your home, and you're like 99.9% of the people I deal with, you want them gone, not tomorrow, but right now. It always puts a smile on my face to hear the reaction of a customer when I tell them we'll have someone out there in a couple of hours. At Paul's, I get the privilege of making your environment safer and more healthy for your family and pets. And because Paul's provides a same-day service guarantee with minimal wait, we get to begin the process right after I receive the call.
If you live in Leon County and call us by noon, Paul's Pest Control will be out by 5, guaranteed. We're a local company, and it's our mission to help keep Tallahassee area customers comfortable and free from the problem that pests bring. And we do so with treatments that are friendly to our environment for the elimination of termites and any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
If Register Sausage was to sponsor a sausage race at FSU baseball, which I'm for.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Which character would each of you be? Jeff seems to think that Corey has to be Andouille.
I would be I think I'd be Andouille. Yeah, I'd run with an accent.
I would want to be jalapeno.
I was going to take
jalapeno cheddar.
I'm going to go ahead and go with jalapeno cheddar.
Just be the regular smoked sausage.
You just be smoked sausage. That's just you.
Regular classic.
And one of us has to lose every time. Like that's.
I might go with the hot one. There's like a hot version.
Yeah, I like
I'll
the
go
hot
with
one.
the hot version.
Okay. You didn't want to just be plain
Spicy.
Jane.
I like a little spice.
Yeah, a little spice to it is preferable.
By the way, so Oklahoma does kind of do that.
Do they?
They have 3 players that start every game of a weekend.
So it's a thing now.
They don't just run out one girl. And also, in case you were wondering if Oklahoma was still good at softball,
They are. Yeah.
They're 36-1, and they've outscored their opposition 316-33. So
A lot of fun to go to those games.
Yeah, must be.
A lot of coaching, the tactician.
She'll tell you that too.
Good grief.
Matt writes, how much better do you think the talent of the football team is now compared to, say, 2 years ago? Say you have to give the current talent a letter grade. If we assume Georgia is an A+, is this team an A-? And was the 21 team a C or maybe worse? All right. I like this question, Matt. Yeah, it's a good question. It's a fun one. If Georgia is the A+.
Okay, I'm going to shoot off the hip. I'm going to say Florida State is B+, and I'm going to say they were a C- or a solid D in 2021.
So I agree with B+. I think they're a B+.
I'm going to say with Jordan Travis, they're an A-. All
right. I think they're a B+.
Because, I mean, how many A's are there in the country if Florida State's a B+?
So with Ohio State.
Just ignoring me.
He doesn't care. Your mic's off.
Completely heard every word he said. I just answered the question. Ohio State would be 1. Alabama gets the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, an A. Oh,
answering the damn question.
He was,
Pay attention to the show, everybody. Good God, I was answering your question. I have to stare into your eyes to answer the question.
That would not be nice. Though.
It would be.
So I gave you 2 right there. I don't know. There aren't many.
A-.
So I'm going with B+. Maybe they proved to be an A-.
Just made my case.
Look, I think they're hovering around an 88 or an 89.
Yeah,
I'm going to give them a letter grade.
It's very close.
It's like an 89.2. We need a little extra credit to bump it up.
Yeah. And then 2 years ago,
they were a 72.
Do you get D+? Do they give D+? 72 is
in
about right.
fact,
We're going numbers. We're
C.
changing it up.
72 is a C.
Gwinnett County, Georgia, they don't give D's anymore. It's either a C or an F. How about that?
Yeah,
that's how we roll up there.
D, that's like if you can't be satisfactory, then you're just a failure.
And you might ask yourself, Corey, how would you know something like that? Well, when Brady is the geometry student he is, we have to do some investigating.
Yeah, we have to look into this.
Scott, what about a D? Can we slide? It's like there aren't D's anymore.
So I took honors English in 11th grade because I had never aspired to be in anything better than honors. Like the AP kids, I was like, why would you do that?
Oh, you're old. Was AP even existed?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
but
I took AP biology.
I just didn't, and all those kids in AP classes would complain about how hard it was.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want any part of that. Yeah.
So I'm in honors English, and I figured out how many points I needed to get a C.
Because I like that you aspired.
I knew how many assignments we had, how many papers we had to turn in, and I knew I had 24 points, and there were 12 assignments, and I'm like, I'm golden. And what's his name? That's the English teacher. Anyway,
Smith.
He would call us up to his desk and show your grade.
Yeah.
So I walk on up, and I'm all confident because I got my 24 points because I didn't turn in the last paper because I knew I had 24 points.
Why
you already
would
had the C.
I got my C.
I've got my 24.
Yeah.
If I get 26 points or 27 points, I'm
Didn't
still
matter.
in
the
C.
difference. Yeah.
So I walk on up, real confident, look at the thing.
F.
D. Like, whoa, no. I have 24 points.
Mr. Jones, this is not right.
I'm an honors
The 0 was 2 Fs.
And you weren't paying attention.
It skewed my GPA. It knocked me down underneath.
Yeah.
So I got a D.
There's a lesson there.
Like maybe try a little harder, do your work.
I mean,
I assume you had a similar conversation with Molly one time when she was trying to just finagle a C out of one of her teachers.
So Molly didn't care about getting 106.
Right.
And Ira had to say, do you know what that mentality can do to you?
Molly could have just not gone to school her senior year and still got a 4.0.
Which should we be more concerned about going into this year, writes Central Florida Nole fan? Punt return or kicking?
You started the thing with this punt return conversation.
Kicking.
No. Etsu's got this. Silence yourself. We're fine.
I feel like
Johnson City in the house. We're good. I'm at practice.
I feel like Florida State lost the game last year because they couldn't kick.
Oh, sure.
Maybe
more than one.
Maybe more than one, but definitely one.
Sure.
I don't know that
that dude ain't kicking this year.
I don't know that you could say they lost any games recently because they couldn't return punts.
Oh, buddy.
I'm telling you, even just letting them bounce isn't great.
We lost plenty.
They might have won the game in Gainesville 2 years ago.
Maybe the Florida game.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on.
I just think kicking is you're gonna. I mean, that's 100 points.
It's already been handled.
It's good.
We do not have a punt returner currently.
I'm not as confident as Jeff in the new transfer.
It's already done. He's solid as a rock. Further the better.
I can't wait to see because he's
Let's go
used to kicking in
57.
front of those
Let's
big
go
crowds.
57
He's
yards.
making deals
Let's
with
go.
linemen to false start
We're
to
good.
challenge himself.
Yeah, back it up. Jason writes, is it too soon to talk about how LSU's offseason is going? Any insight?
I don't have any insight.
I haven't called my guy. I have a guy at LSU who's very knowledgeable, but I haven't called him because it's April and I don't really care to talk about
I
LSU.
assume they're
right
in
now.
spring practice, right? Isn't everybody at this point?
Yeah, and I think, I mean,
we know they're good.
Their reports are going to be all positive, just like all our reports are all positive. I mean, spring.
Yeah.
Nobody's losing in spring.
The only time you know anything different is if they lose somebody due to injury for the year.
You know, you say that. I think the beauty of our beat and what we get to do is we do report some negative because we get to see the practice and it's not all just coach speak saying, yeah, he's coming along.
No, to a degree, but at the end of the
And
day.
also, we do argue occasionally. Like, Rob will be like, I think so-and-so sucks. You're like, no, because we've seen it, so it's fun.
That helps a little bit.
Yeah. But to answer your question, Jason, we don't really have any insight on LSU's offseason just yet. Seminole writes.
My point, though, is real quick. There's not going to be anything. There's not a whole lot of evidence other than our observations. You know, like Norvell's not going to. Adam Fuller said he wanted to see more out of the safeties. That was by far the most negative thing any coach has said.
Yeah.
So you're never going to have anybody saying anything, and you're not keeping score. So it's just hard.
But I like to think that, Ira, we provide context in this sense.
We do.
If they were, I mean, they have had a couple of bad days of practice. We'll come on and say they weren't real good yesterday.
Right. But overall, coverage is going to be mostly.
That's true. Walter writes, good day, mates. Since Brooks Koepka won $4 million and $1.5 million in back-to-back events, how soon will we be seeing him donate all of that to FSU golf? See you all Friday at the CP. Well,
you should have some insight to that.
Yeah.
Help us out.
Brooks actually has been good to FSU
All right.
golf
Okay, well,
at
that's good to
times.
know.
And I don't know about – I know he's come back and worked some camps. I don't know in terms of financial. I don't ask that question. That'd be weird of me. I've talked to Brooks before, but I've never asked, hey, how much money are you giving FSU golf? It's kind of a weird question for me to ask. And I don't really feel like asking Trey. So,
I asked,
hey, buddy, how much is our guys giving us? Yeah.
I asked former President Thrasher.
Nice.
John Thrasher.
John Thrasher. You
former
call him
president.
Mhm.
Well, you always call him Mr. President, even
If
when
he
he's not.
if he's ever golfed with Koepka, and he had not, which I kind of thought was like, I don't know, man. If you're the president of the university,
You would use the weight to do it?
But I guess they can't just be calling up Brooks Koepka and saying, hey, man, we've got people that want to play golf with you.
No, it's kind of an ass move to make. I almost said something else. Yeah.
So he signed that live deal. Aslan was reading it on the show. That was like 4 years, $160 million.
Right. So back to this real quickly. I would say that, yeah, if a guy's in town, you can do it. But you ain't calling him up when he's down at Jupiter or whatever. Like, hey,
we'll fly you in.
I want you to come up
Play
here
around.
Play around just because I feel like
You,
it. I really like
you
to
ever
play.
played Heileman?
Also,
What would he score on Heileman? A 58?
But also, by the way, guys, that's the other thing is like, you think you want to play with all these guys, him, Daniel Berger, whoever else you want to name. But I mean, the bottom line is
no chance.
You don't want to play with them.
Not in a million years.
You're going to look like a fool.
No, I'd like to ride in the cart as they play like a kind of non-competitive round just to watch it, but there's no chance I would ever let anybody see my swing.
Take some hacks against Parker Messick.
There's who will boot more balls per game in 23?
Mastromano
or DeSatis?
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Come on, gang. Mastromano by a wide mark. Well, not a wide
Way
margin.
to go, Michael. We love it. That was really well done, and I'm proud of you. I like that you saw the setup.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
Like, here it comes. Yeah. Here it comes. You got Ira, too, there, Michael. Knowing the linebacker group is a bit thin this year, writes Joe, if you had to pick a position group to be vulnerable but have talent and depth everywhere else, to have the best shot at running the table, which position group would you sacrifice for the register sausage gods?
I mean, that one maybe because you're going to run so much.
And you're going to have some nickel. Yeah, you're going to run a lot of nickel.
So 4-2 a lot. You're only going to have two of them on the field. So
yeah.
That's probably the one.
I just
think your safeties are more important than your linebackers in this defense. I think if you have good safety play,
the other thing
is it's more important than good linebacker play because of that defensive line.
Yeah. And it's also, man, there's an evolution of what college linebackers are anyway. Like they don't play the way we remember linebackers playing.
It's not line. You're not running a lot of 4-3 with a Mike linebacker. Yeah. Our answer to that is no, Ira. We don't real well. And the other thing is, I would say You could sacrifice running backs right now. You got so many of them. Like if you had 3 fewer, I still feel good about the running game. Three fewer. If you had 3 fewer running backs than we currently have, I still feel good about it. I like our running backs. I like the guys that aren't even going to see the field this year.
And Norvell would just move somebody to running back.
Yeah, I mean they're going to run. They're going to be able to run the football. So I would maybe say that position as well. You don't want to lose a quarterback.
No.
You don't want to lose the quarterback.
It's a big gap between 1 and 2 and 1 and 3 and 1 and 4.
How much is he going to play in the spring game? Like people want to see him play.
Got to, right? But you can't hit him. Right. So,
when I did that story on Jameis, I had forgotten. People forget this. Now, Clint Trickett threw for more yards in that spring game.
No, we do forget that.
We do, right? Yeah. He was like 22 at 35.
Oh, I think I was beating that drum that following Tuesday.
Guys, he outshined Jameis. Jameis only threw 15 passes in that game. Now that was a real quarterback competition too. I think the next year, if y'all remember, I think he threw like 50 passes. Like Jimbo just wanted him to end on a positive note. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Jameis Y, Jameis no.
But
over and over again.
Man, remember when EJ was playing and he would never take the starters out because he wanted them to end with a good drive.
Yeah. And you're like,
and then you'd be watching EJ play in the middle of the fourth quarter of a 30-point win and never seeing anybody backups play.
Yeah. Very frustrating.
Probably for those backups too, I would imagine.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Tallahassee Police Department was investigating a deadly shooting that happened after midnight Monday in the 400 block of DuPont Drive. Officers found a man suffering from serious injuries. The man was taken to the hospital, where TPD says he later died. Police are asking anyone with information about the shooting to call TPD at 850-891-4200 or to remain anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 850-574-TIPS. Pro-abortion rights protesters are back in Tallahassee this week, demonstrating just 1 block away from where they were arrested last week. Occupy Tallahassee has secured a permit to rally outside the Leon County Courthouse. This comes after they were arrested and charged with trespassing on City Hall property last Monday for demonstrating after dark. Protesters plan to camp outside the courthouse every night for the rest of the week. The House is expected to discuss the abortion ban bill this week. The Senate already passed it last week, so if it makes it through the House, it will head straight to DeSantis' desk. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 76. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Lows level off around 57. Slight chance for scattered rain showers tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 78. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 77.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
I think it's interesting. We get this type of question an awful lot, and I wonder why. I mean, we just do. I think it's a chance to maybe be nostalgic. Matt writes, if you could take one offensive and one defensive player from the past 20 years at FSU to put on this year's team, no quarterbacks, Who would you pick? We get that a lot. I find that fascinating. I don't know. So this person says they would pick either Rashad Green or LaMarcus Joyner.
LaMarcus Joyner is a good one.
Yeah, because they need a safety.
And also, like, maybe 2013 Kelvin.
Yeah, Telvin's a good one, too.
The one that's trying hard? Oh, Telvin. I thought you said
No,
Kelvin.
Did you say Kelvin or
Kelvin?
Kelvin.
Telvin's a good one, too.
Kelvin and Telvin.
Telvin, maybe I go Telvin and Kelvin.
Yeah.
But I imagine Johnny Wilson, and then opposite him is that freakazoid Kelvin Benjamin. I mean, come on now.
They'd be on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
It's a tough matchup.
If there was a thing, it would be on the SI website.
That's a tough matchup. Yeah.
It is a tough matchup.
Yeah, it's a weird question because you don't go back into the 90s. You're talking about the lost decade, Jimbo's time to now. So there's not not a lot of transcendental players or transcendent.
You were thinking of Henry David Thoreau.
You were thinking of meditation.
Yeah,
I understand. Yeah,
maybe a former quarterback. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I think
LaMarcus Joyner's a good one.
A really good one.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Telvin's a great one too.
All right. I'm going Telvin Smith and Dalvin Cook.
Come on, man.
They're good at running back. I know, but
you're already good at running back. No, I'm trying to win right now.
Cook.
Yeah,
I love Dalvin, but
you
come
don't
on,
think
man.
Jordan and Dalvin Cook would win some football games?
I might go Derwin. Derwin's a pretty good guess.
If we're going to use him right, if we're going to actually use
the
him
NFL version of Derwin,
like the properly utilized Derwin,
covering tight ends.
Maybe Bjorn Werner.
Nah,
you wouldn't want him opposite.
Hey, listen, I love him, but no,
you don't even need a linebacker or safety if you have those two guys coming off the edge.
No. I think Kelvin, Telvin, LaMarcus. Ira's just gluttonous. I mean, if you think about it,
who's the punt returner? Then get a punt returner.
Willie Reed. You want some Willie Reed back there?
That's all I hear about.
Willie Reed's a good one.
Yeah, Greg Reed's a really good one.
Greg Reed's a good one.
Yeah, Greg Reed's a good one too.
I still wouldn't waste it on a punt returner. I think it's. I think we've named the right answer. I just don't know who.
I might put Greg Reed over some of those other guys.
So Marcus Walker was awesome in college.
Nah, I'm not picking.
Okay, all right.
He was awesome.
I mean, again, it'd be really good coming off the edge. It'd be nice to have him and Burse as.
No, we're all right. All right. Do you think Florida State will have things rolling well enough to compete and beat Alabama in 2025 and 2026?
If those games get played.
So are we just flat out leaning towards the fact that those games are not going to be played? Can we just talk honestly here?
We don't know.
We don't know, but let's just talk about it.
I would not play them.
Well, but I'm not asking what you would do. I'm saying, do we think they're going to be played?
We don't think there'd be motivation for Florida State not to play them? Like, screw you. You're trying to take over the world with your SEC nonsense. You want to run this sport and just
I get strategically what you're saying and why you wouldn't do it and how you don't want to aid the endeavor. I agree, but I'm just asking for the fans' sake who are thinking about that game, who are hoping to see us play Georgia or hoping to watch us play Alabama. Do we think that those games are going to be played? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I mean, there's challenges.
Yeah,
there's going to be pressure on the SEC as they expand, whether or not they continue playing.
Right.
Maybe they'll be played with Florida State as a member of the.
Well, now that would be fun. Now, in that case, let's play. That'd be good.
Hey,
good
I'll play
times.
Alabama every year,
guys. We'll concur.
But
play. Yeah, let's
go.
So
the overall question, I mean,
it doesn't feel like those games are going to be played.
But his question was, can they get to a position where they're going to win those games?
Yeah, sure.
It would.
Yes,
but tell
another 2 years.
So they've made 2 years ago. They didn't get any of these kind of guys on campus just to visit. They couldn't even get the guys to visit.
Yeah.
I mean,
right now you have the number one safety in the country here. You have the number one tight end in the country who's already committed to Georgia. Who's thinking about coming here? Yes,
coming to visit. Well, obviously the next step is getting them to commit, but that is a very important step. Just getting them here.
Yeah. Well, have another good year and you will.
Yeah, that's so. Yes, I think there's a chance that could happen.
Boner has weighed in.
Good time, Boner. It's about time you showed up.
Has the staff introduced tackling drills? No.
Nope.
Please tell me Coach Fuller has multiple schemes other than just rushing the front four. Yes. Well, he did twists and stunts last year.
Yeah, and they blitzed.
They did all, and they blitzed a ton. They just didn't get home.
They blitzed from 25 yards away.
Yeah, no, they didn't get home when they blitzed, and they did do plenty of twists last year. But yes, they'll have more multiple fronts this year because they have better personnel and they have the ability to do it.
They played zone a little bit.
They weren't good at it though.
The Greedy Vance interception against Miami off the goal line.
Yeah.
That was you don't ever see that. He just sprinted to a spot and turned around.
Henry writes, ESPN dropped a top 10 quarterbacks for this year. JT was number 5. In the blurb about him, it said, when Norvell arrived, he requested a position change. I'd never heard this before. So am I just late to the party, or is this true? Also, should he be ranked ahead of guys like Bo Nix and Penix at Washington? So I saw the list. I read the story. Andrea Adelson does a good job, wrote the story, that his frustration and confidence was so low at one point, he asked Mike Norvell,
Like, do you think
should I switch
it wasn't
positions?
like,
just to
hey,
get in the
man,
field?
put me
Yeah.
a receiver.
Right.
I don't think
Yeah.
it was that. It was like,
yeah, that part did happen.
If you
as far
don't
as I
believe in
understand
me,
it.
let me know so I can work on another.
Yeah, and it's a great lesson, man, for people with kids or people you coach or whatever. Like, that kid, his morale, his confidence was at an all-time low because the Petrino clan treated him like crap.
Yeah, it was an awful
which is why he
situation at
left.
Louisville, right?
And then he gets here and he can't get a sniff from the Taggart regime.
Well,
until
remember though, I mean,
Odell
you had
took
Blackman and Hornibrook. I mean,
I
good
mean,
luck trying
it's
to crack
tough to
that.
break in through that. I mean, that's a great barrier.
Yeah, it's a
It's
huge
tough
barrier.
to do.
He must have been like,
Well, but
he must.
listen,
and I
he
know
has
he
come
wasn't
so far,
yes.
and it's just, again, this is also to Ira's point. What a great lesson, because literally there was no evidence to suggest he'd be this as a passer.
Right.
And now he's legitimately good as a passer.
But you know who else?
I'm proud
who
of him.
else couldn't pass all that well? Blackman and Hornibrook.
Yeah.
And at least Jordan Travis could run around behind Abdul Bello.
Hornibrook scrambled a little bit.
Yeah, sure. He scrambled to into
But he wasn't
9
getting
sacks
sacked
against
enough.
Miami. So, like, I feel like maybe a more competent coaching staff would have been like, well, we do have this quarterback that's at least a different look.
Well,
Let's just get him to run around.
When
Yeah.
Odell took over that BC game, and
Yeah.
Odell's like,
he's like, all right,
hey,
play.
let's see what can he do?
Todd wants to know, and this is completely fair because of what he says at the end, and we'll give you a very concise analysis, and you won't have to ask again, Todd, because it's not going to change. He writes, why is nobody covering this abysmal FSU baseball team? Can somebody please provide some concise analysis as to the reasons they struggle? This busy traveling guy would really appreciate it. So I mean, he's busy. Yeah. He's out and about. He's not here. He doesn't get to see the games. He's just checking in every now and then.
What has happened?
Yeah, what's up? Well, they're terrible at everything, Todd. They don't pitch well. They don't pick up the baseball. They don't run bases well. They don't hit real well.
They never walk.
Other than that,
they don't get on base.
So I was talking to somebody about this the other day. One thing that really I think is important to understand is last year's team, which was not very good, had two frontline pitchers.
That is correct.
That ate up a lot of innings, went long into games, and sometimes won those games.
Gave you a chance to win baseball games.
And so the biggest difference is.
And Crowell was in the mix too.
And Crowell, you had a really good reliever too. Yeah, you had a great. Yeah.
So
really
you lost why? So Todd, specifically, let's start here. Your best pitcher has been lost for the season, we think.
And the guys that got you to the tournament at all last year had already gone.
They had already left.
Yeah.
All right. So you have no depth of pitching, no quality depth whatsoever. You're relying on some young guys to hope to figure it out. They have good days, bad days. Offensively, you're a mess. You never walk, as Corey pointed out. But also, you have a bunch of positionless players. Guys that are playing positions that they shouldn't play because somebody has to. But you don't look out there and go, he's a quintessential shortstop. He's a quintessential second baseman. He's
we need
to
call that little fence in right field, like Ferrer's corner or something. Ferrer's cleats. Like he slides into that thing every game.
So you have outfielders that drop routine pop flies. You have,
and then you're starting a bunch. Now you're starting a bunch of freshmen, and it's just, man, this season's just gonna be taking your lumps.
This wasn't concise.
Go back on the road. He's traveling. Is that what he said?
He travels a lot.
Keep traveling, man.
Yeah.
Check back in.
Check back in 2025.
This time next year, when you come back to town, we may have a much better story for you.
Yeah, and pay attention to softball in the meantime.
Yeah. Are we really going to witness Miami recruiting go down in flames this year? Haven't seen too many Ruiz tweets lately. That's from Gil.
Could be some tough times.
Gil could be looking at some prison time. I mean, not Gil. Ruiz could be looking at some prison time.
Well, Gil might be too. We don't know anything about
Gil's situation.
We don't know anything
Gil,
about
are you a criminal? But yeah, Ruiz
things are not good. It's a bleak situation.
So it's tragic. Yeah. We're all so sad.
Also, Preston asked if he gave us 7.5 plus 7.5 tonight.
You get choked up over this question. Yeah,
the baseball game in Gainesville. Would you take the Noles plus 7.5?
I would take them plus 7.5.
I would too. 7.5 runs.
Plus
gotta
5.5.
Score 3. Can you score 3 and get to 10?
It's plus
10.5
minus 120.
I'm taking plus 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. So it is another reminder of just how tragic this situation is. I didn't know they were playing.
Why would you?
I've never not known when we were playing Florida or Miami in baseball.
Because you've always loved that series where they play on random Tuesdays.
Well, no.
in
You've
random
heard me
cities.
bitch about this for years. And, of course, I've been here long enough to when they didn't do that. But I have never not known we were having I didn't know. I didn't. It's so far out of my mind. I'm not thinking about it. I know we've got the big golf tournament to come up on Friday. We've got Saturday spring
live show
tonight. Yeah, we got the spring game Saturday. We're really excited about it.
You guys should just make it a watch along.
We should.
At 8:30.
Yeah.
You guys would be
People
like
would love to hear me
7th
like,
or 8th.
oh man, almost. You almost hit that.
I don't know if Corey and I have been to the same baseball game this year, other than that Florida game where we had to watch them just get walked down after getting up 5-1, and then just Florida.
It's all right, man.
I mean, I just, damn it, it's crazy to think I didn't even know, no idea, till I read that.
I would say one of Link's biggest issues was I don't think he didn't attack the portal clearly like he maybe should have. That was a mistake in hindsight.
I don't know why they could they have, or why that didn't.
Yeah,
I never asked.
So what? He got here in mid-July.
Whatever the
June-ish. I mean, he took the job in June.
But I mean, like, I think the opportunity was until July, and this is the pick-through buffet at that point. You really aren't going out and getting anybody who's changing your roster. You're not.
You wouldn't think.
So I just.
Well, he should have brought some Notre Dame guys with him.
Gators are only -220 in Bovada.
Do they do college baseball?
I do get depressed about it. Was awesome. And I'll do it one time just on Ira's behalf. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was a lot of fun. Those were wars.
And the 3 games, Coral Gables, 3 games, Tallahassee was
6 games, and they were usually back-to-back, and it was all 3 this weekend, 3 next down there.
Florida State does not want
get you some.
any part of Florida on the weekend.
10 games against those 2 teams.
Well,
not
also, they don't want Florida on the
currently.
weekend.
No, you do. You want to aspire to
not this year.
No,
I get what you're saying.
God, no.
But I mean, they would get outscored.
Be
better.
Be like
an Oklahoma softball game.
Be better.
Yeah, hey,
go take those ass kickings as a reminder of how far away you are from being remotely interesting.
One last thing that I do think kind of stinks for this situation is now it's apparent to everybody that this roster for Florida State baseball is not going to be the solution.
It's Cheeks.
So, but then
Butts. No, not Butts.
Cheeks.
What's the other one? Cheeks and what?
Buns.
Yeah, Buns. Yeah,
Cheeks.
there it is right there.
But the question is, like,
that's the 2023 baseball.
That can't be great for morale in the program. So that's a concern also.
That they know they're not very good and they don't belong here?
Well,
probably not.
I mean, I don't know that they're going to rally together.
It didn't feel like it was good for the 2020 football team's morale either when they realized how bad they were.
Butch writes, hello, boys. Is it me or is basketball recruiting through the transfer portal moving slower than Patrick Cantlay at Augusta? Yo, good point there, Butch.
Holy moly with that guy.
That son of a bitch. I've never been so angry watching a guy.
Nobody has a lawn dart.
I'm like, sir, you are 15 strokes back of the lead. You do not need to analyze this putt from yet another direction.
And it seemed like there should have been more indignation from the announcer.
But I mean, as much as Jim Nance can, he was kind of like, well, this
and also they every 20 minutes they'd show them just sitting on the bench.
Death ray. Well, they showed death stares at him. And at one point, Ron was in the middle of the fairway, standing there looking at him like,
the leader
trying to win the Masters
is
here.
waiting on the guy that's in 11th place.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was tough. Anyhow, yeah, the portals, it's not exactly crisp right now, Butch. It doesn't feel like we're making a lot of inroads there in a way that would be satisfactory to me.
In a way that would make you think, okay, this could be a special way for Leonard to go out.
Yeah. 2 things, though. One is it is weird that the basketball portal is so different from the football portal. Like in the football portal, they're not putting out top 5 lists and top 10 lists.
Yeah.
Like they don't do interviews. They just they go on a couple of visits. They decide where they're going.
The mentality of one of those basketball kids.
That's what I'm saying.
And how they've been catered to since they were 14.
So I mean, like they're putting out top 4 lists, top 6 lists, and Florida State's on all these lists, but we don't know what it means until they actually land somebody.
It's good if you finish 4th for a bunch of transfers.
Feels like we're not going to get him is what it feels like to me.
I will say that they're going to get 4 or 5 new players. I know that. Whether or not they're
good or not,
it can't be worse.
It'll be different. That's it. It'll be different guys to watch.
For Ira, for Corey, I'm Jeff. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be well. We'll talk to you later. Wake Up Warchant tonight at 8:30. Peace. If you're hearing this right now and you or